6 months had passed since the Council's fleet retreated from Earth. The galaxy looked very different now. The old order was gone, replaced by something new and hopeful. Ambassador Park Ji-woo stood in the center of a great hall on neutral ground. A space station built jointly by humans and their allies. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the room. Some were old council members, humbled but willing to change. Most were species that had found freedom in the revolution. "Welcome, friends," Ji-woo said, his voice carrying to every corner of the hall. "We gather here not as rulers and subjects, but as equals. Today we build a new future for our galaxy." The old speaker of the Galactic Council sat in the front row. Its energy form was dimmer now, no longer blazing with arrogance. It had asked to speak first. "I stand before you with shame," the speaker began. "For 20,000 years, the Council ruled through fear. We told ourselves we were keeping peace, but we were only protecting our power. The humans showed us our true face, and it was ugly." The hall remained silent, listening. "We could have fought to the end," the speaker continued, "but that would have destroyed the galaxy we claim to protect. Instead, we choose to learn. We choose to change. We ask for a place in this new order, not as leaders, but as partners." Ji-woo nodded respectfully. "The past is past. We look forward, not back. Everyone deserves a chance to grow." Captain Kim Dong-hyun, now Admiral Kim, presented the new structure. He stood before a massive holographic display showing trade routes, defense agreements, and research partnerships. "The defensive alliance isn't about one species controlling others," he explained. "It's voluntary cooperation. Members share technology freely. We defend each other against threats. But each world keeps its independence, its culture, its own path of development." A young Deltan raised a tentacle. "What about disputes? Who decides when members disagree?" Dr. Song Min-ji stepped forward. "We've created the Council of Equals. Representatives from all member worlds. Rotating leadership. Decisions by consensus when possible. Fair voting when necessary. No single species ever holds all the power." The system was already working. In the past months, former enemies had become partners. The Krellians, once the Council's military enforcers, now shared their defensive technologies freely. The Neptarians opened their underwater colonies for cultural exchange. Even the Zephyrians contributed their advanced mathematics to the collective knowledge pool. Lieutenant Choi Jae-won, promoted to captain, commanded one of the new joint patrol fleets. His crew included humans, Deltans, Eternals, and even a few Krellians. They worked together, learning from each other. "It's amazing," Jae-won told his old commander during a visit to Earth. "The Krellian navigation officer knows jump routes we never imagined. The Deltan engineer improved our shield efficiency by 30%. When species cooperate instead of dominate, everyone benefits." The revolution had sparked innovation across the galaxy. Without council restrictions, young species developed new technologies at incredible speed. The shy whisper people of the Veil Nebula, silenced for millennia, shared their quantum communication methods that worked instantly across any distance. The nomadic star wanderers revealed propulsion systems that used dark energy, making travel between galaxies possible. On Earth, scientist Park Soo-young led the new Galactic Research Initiative. The headquarters was a massive space station where scientists from all species worked side by side. "Look at this," she said to a group of visitors, pointing to a laboratory where humans and aliens bent over a complex device. "They're developing medical technology that adapts to any species' biology. No more one-size-fits-all solutions. Each being gets treatment perfect for their needs." The economic transformation was equally dramatic. Trade flowed freely without council taxes and restrictions. Worlds that had been kept poor to maintain control suddenly flourished. The mining planets formed their own consortium, setting fair prices for their resources. Agricultural worlds shared crop techniques, ending famines that had plagued some regions for centuries. Not everything was perfect. Some former council hardliners tried to maintain control over their sectors. Pirates and warlords took advantage of the chaos in some areas. But the defensive alliance responded quickly, not with conquest, but with protection and support. Commander Yoon Tae-young, led one such mission to the Broken Worlds, a region where council control had collapsed completely, into anarchy. "We're not here to rule you," he told the frightened inhabitants. "We're here to help you stand on your own. We'll protect you while you rebuild, share technology to help you defend yourselves, then leave when you're ready." This approach worked. World after world joined the alliance, not through force but through genuine desire for cooperation. Even species that had been enemies for thousands of years found common ground. The transformation of the Council's capital world, now renamed Harmony, symbolized the change. The massive government towers were converted into universities and cultural centers. The military command center became a museum dedicated to the history of all species. The throne room where the speaker had ruled became a public park where children of all species played together. 1 year after the revolution began, leaders gathered for the first full assembly of the Defensive Alliance. The variety was stunning. Beings of energy and matter, creatures of land and sea and air, artificial intelligences and organic minds, all sitting as equals. Admiral Lee Sang-wook, elected as the first rotating chairman, addressed the assembly. "A year ago, humanity faced destruction for refusing to surrender our technology. Today, that technology belongs to everyone. We've proven that strength comes not from domination but from cooperation." He paused, looking around the vast hall. "This isn't the end of our journey. It's the beginning. Together we'll explore beyond our galaxy. We'll solve problems that no single species could handle alone. We'll face the unknown future not with fear but with hope." The assembly erupted in celebration, sounds, colors, and gestures of joy from 100 different cultures. Translators worked overtime to share the moment across species barriers. In a quiet corner, Ambassador Park Ji-woo sat with the former speaker. They had become unlikely friends in recent months. "Do you regret what happened?" Ji-woo asked. The speaker's energy pulsed thoughtfully. "I regret the centuries of oppression, but not the change. We had grown stagnant, afraid of growth, afraid of the new. Humans gave us the gift of renewal, even if it came through conflict." "What do you see in the future?" Ji-woo wondered. "Challenges," the speaker admitted, "but also wonders we can't imagine. When species truly cooperate, when knowledge flows freely, when fear no longer limits growth, who knows what we might achieve?" As the celebration continued, news arrived from the frontier. A joint exploration team had made contact with beings from another galaxy. These new aliens were cautious, even fearful, having their own history of oppression. But this time, the response was different. Instead of threats or demands for submission, the Defensive Alliance sent a simple message. "Welcome, friends. We are many species working as one. We offer friendship, knowledge, and mutual respect. Join us in freedom or go your way in peace. The choice is yours." The humans smiled at this message. Once they had stood alone against a galactic empire. Now they stood with friends building something better. They hadn't conquered the galaxy, they had liberated it. They hadn't imposed their will, they had shared their dream. The stars no longer belonged to the powerful alone. The third week of the blockade brought surprising changes. The mighty Galactic Council fleet still surrounded Earth, but they were no longer the hunters. They had become the hunted. Lieutenant Choi Jae-won commanded the stealth ship Resilience, one of humanity's newest vessels. His crew of 20 young officers worked with perfect coordination as they prepared for another raid. "Target identified," reported Ensign Kim Na-young. "It's the Council's main communication ship. If we disable it, their fleet loses coordination for at least 6 hours." Jae-won studied the tactical display. "Perfect. But this time, we're doing something different. We're going to board them." His crew looked surprised. Until now, they had only conducted hit-and-run attacks. "Sir?" His second-in-command, Lieutenant Park Min-soo, raised an eyebrow. "Board them? That's risky." Jae-won smiled. "Earth Command wants us to send a message. We're going to show the Council that humans can walk right onto their ships whenever we want. Psychological warfare, Minsu. Make them feel unsafe even in their own fleet. The Resilience moved like a shadow through space. Its quantum cloak bent light and sensors around it, making it invisible to alien technology. They approached the massive communications vessel, which was 3 times their size. Docking in 3, 2, 1, Young whispered. The human ship attached to the alien vessel like a mosquito landing on an elephant. Cutting lasers created a small entrance, and 10 humans in advanced armor stepped through. The aliens never saw them coming. Jaewon's team moved through corridors using personal cloaking devices. They planted small devices on critical systems, then left as quietly as they had arrived. The whole operation took 15 minutes. Back on the Resilience, Jaewon activated his communicator. Mission complete. Detonate the EMP charges. Across the communication ship, the devices activated. Every electronic system shut down instantly. Lights failed. Computers died. The mighty vessel became a floating tomb of dead technology. The Council fleet panicked. Their primary communications hub was gone. Ships started transmitting on emergency channels, creating chaos. And in that chaos, more human stealth ships struck, disabling weapons and engines across the fleet. On Earth, scientist Park Soo-young stood before cameras in the Global Broadcasting Center. Her message would reach not just humanity, but every inhabited world in the galaxy. Citizens of the galaxy, she began, her voice calm and clear. I am Dr. Park Soo-young of Earth Science Collective. I speak to all species living under Council rule. You've been told that humans are dangerous, that we threaten peace. But ask yourselves, who has actually kept you in chains for 20,000 years? Her words traveled faster than light, reaching planets across the galaxy. On the industrial world of Forge Prime, workers stopped their machines to listen. On the agricultural planet of Greenhold, farmers gathered around communication devices. The Council claims to protect you, Soo-young continued. But protection that comes with chains is not protection, it's imprisonment. They take your resources, limit your growth, and crush your dreams. We offer an alternative. She gestured, and the screen showed images of human colonies. Happy families, advanced cities, clean technology, and most importantly, different species, working together as equals. Humans believe in cooperation without domination. We share technology freely. We help others grow stronger. We don't fear your success. We celebrate it. The Council fears strong species because their power depends on keeping you weak. We want you strong because we believe the galaxy is better when everyone thrives. On the Council's command ship, the speaker watched this broadcast with growing alarm. Shut it down, block the signal. We can't, Speaker, replied the Neptarian technician. With our communication ship disabled, we've lost signal control. The humans are broadcasting on quantum channels we can't jam. Meanwhile, responses to Soo-young's message poured in from across the galaxy. The oppressed species of Sigma-7 declared independence. The mining worlds of the Outer Reach refused to send resources to the core worlds. Even on the Council's capital planet, protests began in the streets. Admiral Lee Sang-wook watched the galaxy-wide response from his command center on Mars. It's working better than we hoped. The Council's control is collapsing everywhere. Commander Park Jin-young pointed to the tactical display. Sir, we're detecting movement in the enemy fleet. They're pulling ships back to defend their core systems. Lee nodded. They're abandoning the blockade. They have to choose. Try to crush us here or save their empire. They chose their empire, but the damage was already done. On the ice world of Crystallis, the native species had been forced to mine rare crystals for the Council for 3,000 years. Now they watched human broadcasts and decided enough was enough. No more, declared their leader, First Voice Zanka. We will mine for ourselves. We will trade with whom we choose. The age of Council slavery is over. Similar scenes played out across hundreds of worlds. Some species took up arms. Others simply stopped obeying. The careful order the Council had, maintained through fear, began to crumble. Back in Earth's solar system, Human ships emerged from their hidden bases, not just the stealth fighters, but massive battleships that had been disguised as asteroids, carriers that had hidden in gas giant storms, and support vessels that had pretended to be space stations. Captain Kim Dong-hyun coordinated the emergence from his orbital station. All units, this is Fleet Command. Operation Sunrise is authorized. Show them what humanity can really do. The transformation was stunning. What had seemed like a normal solar system revealed itself as a fortress. Weapons platforms, shield generators, and military bases appeared everywhere. Earth's moon turned out to be hollowed out, containing shipyards and defensive systems. Mars had underground factories producing weapons and ships. Even the asteroid belt was full of hidden military installations. The remaining Council ships found themselves massively outnumbered. They had brought 3,000 ships to blockade Earth. Now they faced 10,000 human vessels, all with technology equal to or better than their own. This is impossible, the Krellian commander said weakly. How could they hide so much? But the real surprise was still coming. Jump points began opening around the solar system. Ships emerged, but not human ships. These were vessels from the Deltans, the Eternals, the Vega Collective, and dozens of other species. Humanity's secret allies had come to stand with them. Ambassador Park Ji-woo broadcast to the Council fleet. As you can see, humanity is not alone. The galaxy is tired of your tyranny. You have a choice. Fight a war you cannot win, or negotiate a new future where all species are free. On the Council's command ship, arguments broke out. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to retreat. The speaker's energy form flickered between colors, showing its confusion and fear. Then came news that changed everything. The Andromedan Empire, the Council's oldest rival, announced they were recognizing humanity's independence and offering them full diplomatic status. Other galactic powers followed suit. It's over, the Neptarian ambassador said quietly. We've lost control. If we fight now, we fight not just humans, but half the galaxy. The speaker's light dimmed to almost nothing. How did this happen? We ruled for 20,000 years. You ruled through fear. Park's voice came through the communication system. Fear only works until someone stands up to it. Once one person says no, others find their courage. You created the very thing you feared, a united galaxy standing against tyranny. As the third week ended, the Galactic Council fleet began to withdraw. Not in victory, but in defeat. They had come to crush a young species and instead had sparked a galactic revolution. On Earth, children played in parks while overhead. The greatest military showdown in galactic history was ending not with explosions, but with the quiet retreat of a broken empire. Humanity had won not through superior firepower, but through something more powerful: the courage to say no and the wisdom to help others find their freedom. Three days had passed since the blockade began. The Galactic Council's massive fleet still surrounded Earth's solar system, but something had changed. The aliens were no longer attacking. They were watching, studying, trying to understand what had gone wrong. In the Council's command ship, the speaker's energy form flickered with frustration. The other Council members had gathered for an emergency meeting. Their confidence was shaken. This makes no sense, said the Zephyrian representative, its 6 arms waving anxiously. Our intelligence reports said humans were barely capable of interstellar travel. How do they have quantum shields? How do they have cloaking technology? The Krellian commander's rocky form glowed with heat. We've been deceived. The humans have hidden their true capabilities. But how? Our spies have watched them for decades. The speaker pulsed with anger. Bring me the head of intelligence now. Minutes later, a thin, nervous alien entered the chamber. This was Varketh, the Council's master spy. Its skin changed colors with fear as it faced the angry leaders. Explain, the speaker commanded. Your reports said humans were primitive, yet they have technology that rivals our own. How did you fail so completely? Varketh trembled. I don't understand it myself, Speaker. We monitored their communications, their research facilities, their military bases. Everything indicated they were struggling with basic quantum theory. Then how do you explain this? The Krellian commander pointed at a tactical display showing human stealth fighters appearing and disappearing like ghosts. They're running circles around our fleet. Back on Earth, Engineer Han Yu-jin sat in a secure conference room with other human leaders. Admiral Lee, Dr. Song, and Ambassador Park were all present via hologram. It's time to show them the truth, Yu-jin said. They need to understand what they're really facing. Ambassador Park nodded. Agreed. The psychological impact will be greater if we reveal it now, while they're confused and demoralized. Are you sure about this? Admiral Lee asked. Once we show our hand, we can't take it back. Dr. Song smiled. They've already seen our shields and stealth tech. Might as well show them the rest. Besides, I want to see their faces when they realize how wrong they've been. Han Yu-jin activated his computer. Broadcasting now, this should reach their command ship directly. In the council chamber, the arguing aliens suddenly fell silent as their main screen activated. A human face appeared, Engineer Han Yu-jin, looking calm and professional. Members of the Galactic Council, Han began. I am Chief Engineer Han Yu-jin of Earth's Technology Division. We've been monitoring your confusion for the past 3 days. We think it's time you understood the truth about humanity. The speaker's light flared. How dare you interrupt this chamber? Your insolence knows no bounds. Han smiled. You're welcome to continue your blockade, but first, you should know what you're really dealing with. Varketh, your intelligence chief, didn't fail. He reported exactly what we wanted him to see. The aliens looked at each other in confusion. Varketh's color shifted to deep purple with shock. What do you mean? Varketh asked weakly. For the past 50 years, we've been feeding you false information, Han explained. Every failure you witnessed, every setback we seemed to suffer, was carefully staged. We wanted you to think we were primitive. We wanted you to underestimate us. The chamber erupted in disbelief. The speaker's energy turned dark red. Impossible. We had spies in your research facilities. Yes, you did, Han agreed. We knew about every single one. We let them see what we wanted them to see. While they watched our fake laboratories, our real research happened in places you never thought to look. Han's image was replaced by a video. It showed the ocean floor of Earth's Pacific Ocean. Massive facilities stretched for miles beneath the water, glowing with advanced technology. Our primary research centers are underwater, Han's voice continued. We have bases inside asteroids buried under the ice of Europa, hidden in the storms of Jupiter. Your spies watched empty buildings while we advanced beyond your imagination, the B. Video changed, showing human scientists working with quantum technology that looked more advanced than anything the Council possessed. Ships that could fold space, weapons that manipulated time, computers that used parallel dimensions for processing. But why? The Neptarian ambassador asked, its tentacles trembling. Why hide your abilities? Ambassador Park's image appeared on the screen. Because we studied our own history and we studied yours. Every time a young species appeared threatening to the Council, you crushed them before they could grow. We saw the pattern, so we decided to grow in secret. The Zephyrian representative made a whistling sound of distress. How long have you had this technology? Quantum shields? 30 years. Cloaking technology? 25 years. Faster than light communication? 40 years. Park's voice was matter-of-fact. We reverse-engineered most of it from alien ships that crashed on Earth. Then we improved it. Improved it? The speaker sounded incredulous. That's impossible. Our technology was perfected over millennia. Dr. Song Min-ji appeared on the screen, looking amused. With respect, Speaker, your technology stopped advancing thousands of years ago. You became comfortable with your power. You stopped asking questions, stopped exploring new ideas. But humans never stop questioning. It's in our nature. She gestured, and new images appeared. They showed human innovations, quantum computers that worked at room temperature, engines that drew power from dark matter, shields that converted attacks into energy. Your energy weapons make our shields stronger, Minji explained. We designed them that way. Your sensors can't see our ships because we move them slightly out of phase with normal space. Your computers can't predict our tactics because we use quantum uncertainty as a strategic advantage. The council members sat in stunned silence. Everything they believed about humans was wrong. The primitive species they thought they could bully was actually more advanced in many ways. There's something else you should know. Admiral Lee's image joined the others. We're not alone in this. The screen split to show multiple alien faces, species the Council had oppressed for centuries. The Deltans have been our allies for 30 years, Lee explained. The Eternals joined us 20 years ago. The Vega Collective has been sharing technology with us for a decade. Many species are tired of your tyranny. They've been helping us prepare. The speaker's light dimmed with shock. The younger species, they've been conspiring against us? Not conspiring, Park corrected. Preparing. You created this situation with your threats and ultimatums. You forced species to choose between slavery and resistance. Many chose resistance, secretly. Captain Kim Dong-hyun appeared on the screen, standing on the bridge of his orbital station. Right now, across the galaxy, oppressed species are watching this broadcast. They're seeing that the Council can be defied. They're learning that you're not invincible. As if on cue, alerts began sounding in the Council chamber. Reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Rebellions were starting on dozens of worlds. Species that had been quiet for centuries were suddenly refusing Council demands. What have you done? The speaker whispered. We've shown the galaxy the truth, Ambassador Park replied. The Council rules through fear, not strength. Your military is spread across thousands of star systems. Your resources are limited. You can't fight everyone at once. The Krellian commander slammed its rocky fist on the table. You may have tricked us humans, but you're still just one species. We have the might of thousands. Han Yu-jin smiled. Do you? How many of those thousands actually support you? How many serve you only because they fear you? And what happens when that fear disappears? More reports came in. The Syrian Confederacy had declared independence. The Outer Rim Alliance was mobilizing its fleet. Even some core worlds were questioning Council authority. You see, Park said softly, we didn't plan to destroy you. We planned to free the galaxy from your control. Not through war, but through truth. The truth that you're not gods. You're not invincible. You're just another group of species that grew too comfortable with power. The speaker's light fluctuated wildly, showing its inner turmoil. You've destroyed everything. The order we maintained for 20,000 years. Order built on fear isn't real order, Dr. Song replied. It's just delayed chaos. We're offering something better. A galaxy where species cooperate by choice, not force. Where technology is shared freely. Where young species can grow without being crushed. The transmission ended, leaving the Council in darkness. The most powerful organization in the galaxy sat in silence, realizing their empire was crumbling not from external attack, but from the simple revelation of truth. Outside, their fleet still surrounded Earth. But now they wondered, were they the hunters or the hunted? Were they containing humanity? Or had humanity already escaped to spread their message of freedom across the stars? Captain Kim Dong-hyun stood on the bridge of the orbital defense station, watching the alien fleet through the massive windows. The enemy ships hung in space like dark clouds, blocking out the stars. His crew worked quietly at their stations, their faces calm but focused. Sir, the Council's fleet has completed their blockade formation, reported Lieutenant Choi Ha-jun. The young officer's hands moved quickly over his control panel. They've positioned ships at every jump point. Nothing can get in or out of our solar system. Dong-hyun nodded. Just as we expected. What's the status of our quantum shields? All shield generators are online, Captain, said Chief Engineer Bae Ji-ho. Dr. Song's team in Antarctica reports full power to all defensive systems. Down on Earth, deep beneath the ice of Antarctica, Dr. Song Minji and her team worked without rest. The research station hummed with activity. Hundreds of scientists monitored massive machines that glowed with blue quantum energy. Increase power. To Sector 7, Minji called out. She wiped sweat from her forehead despite the cold. We need perfect coverage over the Pacific Ocean. Her assistant, Dr. Choi Hai-wan, looked worried. Doctor, we've never run the shields at full power for this long. The generators are heating up. Minji smiled. They'll hold. We built them to last. Trust in our work. Above them, invisible to the alien sensors, humanity's quantum shield spread across the planet like a protective blanket. The technology was new, untested in real combat, but it was their best hope. Meanwhile, on Mars, Admiral Lee Sang-wook stood in the command center of humanity's military headquarters. Screens covered every wall showing maps, ship positions, and status reports. Officers rushed back and forth carrying tablets and speaking into headsets. All civilian ships have been recalled to safe harbors, reported Commander Park Jin-young. Mining operations have switched to weapons production. The colonies on the Moon and Mars have moved all non-essential personnel underground. The Admiral studied the tactical display. Good. What about Protocol Sigma? Jin-young smiled. Ready to activate on your command, sir. 37 merchant vessels have been retrofitted with weapons systems. They look like cargo ships, but they pack enough firepower to surprise our visitors. Across human space, the transformation was remarkable. Within hours of Ambassador Park's defiant no, humanity had shifted into survival mode. But there was no panic, no chaos. People moved with purpose, following plans that had been prepared months ago. In New Seoul, the capital city of Earth, citizens watched the news on giant screens. The reporters spoke calmly, explaining the situation without causing fear. The Galactic Council has begun their blockade, said anchor Kim So-young. But Earth Defense Force assures us that all defensive measures are in place. Food distribution centers are operating normally. Please continue your daily activities and trust in our leadership. In the crowd, an old man named Hong Dae-sung watched, with his granddaughter Lee Yu-jin. She held his hand tightly. Grandfather, are we going to be okay? Yu-jin asked. Dae-sung smiled down at her. Yes, little one. Humans have faced hard times before. We always find a way. Back in space, the alien commanders grew impatient. The Krellian Supreme Commander, a massive creature made of living rock, contacted the speaker through quantum communication. Speaker, the humans show no sign of surrender. Should we begin the intimidation protocol? The speaker's energy form flickered with annoyance. Yes. Fire a warning shot. Target their outer shield. Perimeter. Show them the futility of resistance. The Krellian warship Crushing Fist powered up its main weapon. A beam of pure energy shot toward Earth, designed to create a spectacular explosion just outside the atmosphere. The aliens expected panic, fear, maybe even immediate surrender. Instead, something impossible happened. The energy beam hit humanity's quantum shield and simply disappeared. Not exploded, not deflected, but absorbed completely. The shield glowed briefly, then returned to its invisible state. What? The Krellian commander stared at his sensors. Where did our weapons' energy go? On Earth, Dr. Song Minji laughed with joy. It worked. The absorption matrix converted their weapon energy into power for our shields. They're literally making us stronger by shooting at us. Captain Kim Dong-hyun received the report on his bridge. He activated the communication system, broadcasting on all frequencies. Attention, Galactic Council fleet. Your warning shot has been received and catalogued. We remain unmoved. Humanity does not yield to threats. The alien fleet buzzed with confused communications. No species had ever developed shields that could absorb energy weapons. It defied their understanding of physics, but humanity's response was just beginning. On the Moon, inside the hidden Luna base, Commander Yoon Tae-young prepared his squadron of stealth fighters. These ships were smaller than anything in the Councils. Fleet painted pure black to blend with space. Remember, Tae-young told his pilots, we're not trying to destroy them. We're sending a message. Hit their supply ships, disable their communications, then disappear. Let them wonder what else we're hiding. Lieutenant Park Min-jun, one of the youngest pilots, raised his hand. Sir, what if they catch us? Tae-young grinned. They won't. Our quantum drives make us faster than anything they have. Trust your training, and trust your ship. The stealth fighters launched silently, invisible to alien sensors. They moved through space like shadows, approaching the enemy fleet from unexpected angles. The first strike came without warning. A Zephyrian supply vessel suddenly lost all power. Its crew scrambled to understand what happened, but their attackers were already gone. Minutes later, a communications relay exploded on the edge of the fleet. Then another supply ship went dark. "We're under attack," shouted a Neptarian captain. "But I can't see anything on sensors." The speaker watched the chaos with growing concern. "Impossible. Humans don't have cloaking technology. Our intelligence said they were decades away from developing it. But human intelligence had fooled them completely. Earth's governments had shared false information for years, pretending to struggle with technologies they had already mastered. They wanted the galaxy to underestimate them. Now that strategy was paying off. On Jupiter's moon, Europa, hidden beneath the ice, Captain Han Subin commanded humanity's secret submarine fleet. These weren't ordinary submarines. They were spacecraft designed to look like ocean vessels, perfect for hiding in the underground seas of Europa. "Time to show them another surprise," Subin ordered. "Launch the quantum torpedoes, target their sensor arrays. Let's make them blind as well as confused." The submarines rose from Europa's hidden oceans, breaking through the ice. They fired, volleys of torpedoes that seemed to teleport across space, appearing inside the enemy's shield perimeters before detonating. Alien sensors exploded in showers of sparks. Navigation systems failed. Communication networks went silent. The mighty Galactic Council fleet, so confident hours before, found itself partially blind and unable to coordinate properly. Admiral Lee Sang-wook watched the battle reports with satisfaction. Phase 1 complete. They're confused and partially disabled. Begin Phase 2. Across the solar system, automated defense platforms came online. These had been disguised as asteroid mining stations or communication satellites. Now they revealed weapon systems and began targeting enemy engines and weapon arrays with surgical precision. The Council fleet tried to respond, but their shots either missed the fast-moving human ships or were absorbed by quantum shields. Every attack made humanity's defenses stronger. In the Council's command ship, the speaker pulsed with frustrated energy. "This is impossible. Humans are primitives, they cannot have this technology." But they did, and they were just getting started. On Earth, people watched the battle through news feeds. Children went to school, workers went to their jobs, farmers tended their fields. The attack they'd feared hadn't come. Instead, humanity was teaching the galaxy a lesson in preparedness and determination. Dr. Song Min-ji looked at her readings and smiled. "Shield strength at 150% and rising. Let them keep shooting. Every attack makes us stronger." Captain Kim Dong-hyun opened a channel to the alien fleet. His voice was calm and professional. "Galactic Council fleet, this is Earth Defense Command. You came here expecting to bully a young species into submission. Instead, you found a people who learned from their own violent history. We know war better than you think. We prepare for it even as we hope for peace. Your blockade has failed. Your intimidation has failed. We suggest you reconsider your position." The response was silence. For the first time in 20,000 years, the Galactic Council didn't know what to do. They had threatened thousands of species and all had surrendered. But humans were different. They didn't just resist, they turned the Council's own strength against them. As the first day of the blockade ended, humanity stood unbroken. The quantum shields held strong. The stealth fighters continued their raids. The hidden defenses remained, ready. And on Earth, 8 billion humans went about their lives, proof that courage wasn't about the absence of fear, but about facing that fear The huge meeting room of the Galactic Council felt cold and empty. Ambassador Park Ji-woo stood alone in the center of the crystal floor. The floor was so clear he could see stars shining beneath his feet. Above him, 7 alien leaders sat in floating chairs that moved slowly in a circle. They looked down at him like judges looking at a criminal. Ji-woo kept his back straight and his face calm. He wore a simple black suit with a small earth pin on his collar. His dark hair was neat, and his brown eyes showed no fear. He had prepared for this moment for months, but nothing could prepare him for the feeling of standing here, alone, with the fate of humanity in his hands. The biggest alien rose from its chair. This was the Speaker of the Galactic Council. Its body was made of pure light that changed colors like a rainbow. When it spoke, its voice filled the entire room like thunder. "Human Ambassador Park Ji-woo," the speaker said. Its voice sounded like many voices speaking together. "The Galactic Council has made its decision. Earth must surrender all quantum technology within 7 standard days. If you refuse, your planet will be cut off from all trade routes. No ships will enter or leave your solar system." Ji-woo felt the weight of those words. Without trade, Earth would lose access to medical supplies, rare metals, and food that billions of people needed, but he kept his face calm. The speaker continued, "Your species has grown too fast. Your quantum technology threatens the balance of power in our galaxy. You are young. You are reckless. You do not understand the danger of what you have created." Behind the speaker, the other council members nodded. There was the Zephyrian representative, tall and thin with 6 arms. Next to it sat the Krelian commander, whose rocky skin looked like living stone. The aquatic Neptarian floated in a sphere of water, its tentacles moving slowly. Each of these species had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. To them, humans were like children playing with fire. Ji-woo touched the small device in his ear. A quiet voice came through immediately. "I can hear everything," said Captain Kim Dong-hyun. He was on the orbital defense station above Earth, watching the Council's fleet surround their solar system. "Their ships are moving into position. I count over 3,000 warships." "Stay calm," Ji-woo whispered back. "Follow the plan." "Thadar," speaker's light grew brighter, showing its anger. "You dare to communicate with others during this sacred meeting? This shows how little respect your species has for our authority." Ji-woo looked up at the massive alien. "I meant no disrespect, Speaker. I was simply informing Earth Command about your ultimatum. They have a right to know what you are demanding." "Rights?" The Krelian commander stood up, its stone body making grinding sounds. "Humans talk about rights, but you have only existed in space for 200 years. We have kept peace in this galaxy for 20,000 years. You know nothing about rights or responsibilities." The other council members began to speak all at once, their alien languages mixing together. Ji-woo understood most of it through his translator. They called humans dangerous, primitive, and arrogant. They said Earth needed to be controlled before it was too late. Ji-woo waited for the noise to die down. Then he spoke clearly and calmly. "May I ask the council a question?" The speaker's light dimmed slightly. "Speak, human." "You say our quantum technology threatens galactic peace. But in our 2 centuries of space travel, how many wars have we started? How many planets have we conquered?" Silence filled the chamber. The council members looked at each other. Ji-woo continued, "The answer is 0. We have started no wars. We have conquered no worlds. We have only defended ourselves when attacked. Can the same be said for every member of this council?" The Zephyrian representative made a sound like breaking glass. "Your past does not matter. It is your future we fear. Your technology grows too quickly. Your ambition has no limits. Soon you will want to rule over others." "That is not our way," Ji-woo said firmly. "Humans believe in cooperation, not domination. We share our medical advances freely. We help younger species develop their own technology. We have never forced our ways on others." The speaker moved closer, floating down from its high position. Its light was so bright that Ji-woo had to squint. "Pretty words, Ambassador, but words mean nothing. The Council has decided. Surrender your quantum technology or face isolation. You have 7 days. Jiwoo felt sweat on his forehead but didn't wipe it away. He thought about his daughter, Sumin, back on Earth. She was only 8 years old. What kind of galaxy would she grow up in if he made the wrong choice now? Before I give Earth's answer, Jiwoo said, let me make sure I understand. You want us to give up the technology that powers our hospitals, grows our food, and protects our colonies. Without it, millions of humans will suffer and die. Is this correct? The speaker's light flickered. Sacrifices must be made for the greater good. Your species is small. The galaxy is large. We must think of everyone, not just humans. Jiwoo nodded slowly. He pressed the device in his ear again. Captain Kim, did you hear all of that? Every word, Donghyun replied. Earth Command is waiting for your response. Jiwoo took a deep breath. He looked around the chamber one more time. The alien leaders watched him with cold, distant eyes. They had already decided humanity's fate. To them, this meeting was just a formality. But they didn't know what Jiwoo knew. They didn't know about the secret preparations, the hidden defenses, the quiet determination of 8 billion humans who refused to bow to tyranny. Jiwoo stepped forward. His voice was steady and clear. I have Earth's answer. After careful consideration of your ultimatum, humanity's response is simple. He paused, looking directly at the speaker. No. The chamber erupted in chaos. The council members shouted in their alien languages. The speaker's light turned deep red, pulsing like a heartbeat. You dare refuse the Galactic Council? The speaker roared. Do you understand what this means? Your species will be alone in the darkness. Your children will starve. Your colonies will wither and die. Is this the future you choose? Jiwoo stood firm against the storm of anger. We choose freedom over slavery. We choose hope over fear. We will not give up our technology. We will not abandon our future. If you want to isolate us, that is your choice. But humanity will not yield. The Krellian commander slammed its rocky fist on its chair. Foolish human, your ships are toys compared to our fleet. Your weapons are primitive. You cannot win this fight. Perhaps, Jiwoo said calmly. But we will try. That is what humans do. We try, even when the odds are against us. We stand up, even when giants try to push us down. The speaker rose high into the air, its light now burning white-hot.
Then you have chosen war, Ambassador Park. When your people cry out in hunger, when your cities go dark, when your species begs for mercy, remember this moment. Remember that you could have saved them. But your pride was too great. Jiwoo shook
his head. Not pride, speaker, principle. There are some things more important than safety. Freedom is one of them. With those words, he turned and walked toward the exit. The council members shouted behind him, but he didn't look back. Each step felt heavy, knowing what would come next. But he also felt something else. Hope. Humanity had faced impossible odds before. They had survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. They would survive this too. As the massive doors closed behind him, Jiwoo heard Captain Kim's voice in his ear. Well done, Ambassador. Earth Command sends their compliments. All defense systems are active. The quantum shields are powered up. We're ready. Jiwoo smiled grimly as he walked toward his shuttle. Tell them to stay sharp, Captain. The real test begins now. Outside the council chambers, the galaxy watched and waited. News of humanity's defiance spread like wildfire. No species had ever said no to the Galactic Council. Most aliens thought the humans were insane. Some thought they were brave. A few, in secret, hoped they might actually win. In the darkness of space, 3,000 alien warships surrounded the Sol system. Their weapons powered up. Their shields glowed with energy. The blockade was complete. But on Earth, there was no panic. In underground bunkers and orbital stations, humans worked with quiet efficiency. Children went to school. Farmers tended their crops. Scientists continued their research. If the galaxy wanted to see what humans were made of, they would show them. The war hadn't started yet, but the first shot had been fired.